Howdy, y'all. It's Cody from Keepers Nerdum. How you doing? I thought, you know what? Let's do chapter 16 of the challenge mode thing to get some 200 gemstones and then the key evolution token. I'm level I think 40 now, so I'm a little bit past this, but yet it's kind of fun to see and evaluate just how this game functions overall. I think it's a really cool game. I think in a bit I'm gonna run out of just energy to do it, just because games like this after a while they get old, and that's okay. But it's also just the reality of playing a game over and over and doing the same thing multiple times. You enjoy it for a long time, and then you hit a point where it just gets old, and it's fun. No, it's really cool. So what's the first off, what's some things that I recommend? Obviously, I'm getting certain builds. It's funny, when I first started playing, I hated the drones. The little black and red drone that's following me right now, I absolutely hated it until I realized that how this game works is this, that what you're doing is trying to gain access to the best versions of everything. And so as you level up a thing, typically you have to have let's pause it for a second, a supply that matches the weapon skill and has the icon showing, and then you can get a super version after you max out the XP bar on it, and like the level up bar. And so it's a really cool thing. So like, this is a tip for new players, but it's also kind of just insightful, helpful stuff. You know what? We're gonna refresh. We're gonna try for something, and that's exactly what I wanted. A Type B drone. We want that. So the reason we want that so badly is this. And I thought these two drones were really terrible. So this is like a pro tip for new players. These drones, instead of needing a supply to match them, they actually just need each other. So if you have the blue drone and the black red drone, or sorry, the blue and white drone and the black red drone, eventually if you max both of them out, you can combine them into a drone that has like the missile profiles of both. Let's take the laser. And you can just go nutty, because then they only take up one slot because they combine. And so then you can get a completely new weapon, which all of a sudden just changes your profile like insanely, just massive amounts, because it goes to a really awesome drone that does crazy stuff. And I've got an equipment thing, a tech part that enhances my drones to do homing shots. So if you'll notice, let me try to get away from people for a second. Man, I don't know if I'll be able to show you. So basically, when nothing's in range, they will just shoot. There you go. You saw it for a second. They'll just shoot randomly, just out, because they're supposed to, before you get a tech part upgrade for these, they just shoot around in a circle and not at anything specific. So they're actually really terrible. But then you get a tech part for them, and all of a sudden, they actually will do homing missiles and do, I believe, less missiles. But it doesn't really matter, because then you're actually doing way more damage, because they're actually targeting things instead of just being random. So they are actually some of the best things. And then ironically, one of the best upgrades I've found, and I've seen people review and say, no, it's not very good, is this middle thing, the HE fuel. Because actually the HE fuel gives ammo and weapon ranges up 10%, which I do believe affects the drones and gives them the ability to target a little bit further out. And for example, if you get the spinning blades around you, those also increase in their range out. And once you max those out, all of a sudden their range is huge. And it's actually almost seems like it could be a bad thing, because things could get through. But when you get them to the Wheel of Death upgrade at the end, they actually go so fast that just about nothing gets through them, and they cover a much bigger area further away from you. So then it just saves you so much time, energy, and effort. So there's a lot of interesting things. Like, what's the best upgrades? The answer is, first off, we'll talk about the main weapon over here, my light chaser in the top left, because there's a case to be made for another weapon up there as well, very easily. And they compete with each other because they're so radically different. And the light chaser is just good for mobs, but we can talk about that more in detail later. But that's just the few thoughts. Like, honestly, I really like the laser. And even the one thing I don't like about the laser is that once you get to the ultimate upgrade, it actually just feels like it's not like it's definitely more deadly, like damage wise, but because of how it circles and then goes inward, it doesn't do the same weapon profile. Because once you upgrade the laser about halfway, that it gets larger, and so then the damage goes up and it covers a lot more. And also, I believe I have an upgrade through tech parts that causes it to slow things down. So if you notice down here on the far right, it says Evo with the sword. So as long as I have this armor, then my sword can go to the ultimate upgrade once I get it maxed out. So these are really important details to the game. As you can tell, I'm just kind of running into stuff. A high-powered bullet also is a great upgrade because that just increases damage across the board by 10%. And you can max it out at 50%, and all of a sudden you are in some crazy awesome boosts, because that means those missiles from your drone or drones are doing way more damage, and the lasers hitting harder. Did I get the lightning bolt? I did. So I really like the lightning bolt. The drill up here in the top middle, you could either supply the drill, you can supply the soccer balls. Either one of those I think are really good and should be willing to be taken. The Circle of Death attack. Oh, all attack cooldown at -8%, and it also evolves my laser and the lightning emitter. That's really big, because lightning emitter is one of the best things for like anti-boss, because you can still just run away from the boss and the lightning will just target the boss. And so you can just focus in on, if you need to, running away, and the lightning emitter can get you damage while you're not doing anything else to the boss. And so it works on the boss while you're focused on other things. So I think the drones, as you upgrade them and get them maxed out, really go crazy good. I think the laser emitter is amazing. I really do. I don't know that it's necessarily like the top tier. I think one of the ones that I would definitely caution against being really any good is the energy barrier around you. And I say that as I really actually like it. Oh, bullet flight speed, and that'll upgrade our drills, which is good. And we're going to take the light wave and lightning emitter, missiles. Let's go. We do not want to get that magnet just yet. But just the energy around you, I love it, especially if you're playing lower tier levels and you're pretty high maxed out. You actually don't have to play very hard. I think also the Molotov cocktails are really powerful. At first I didn't want to like them, but when you max out their upgrade, it's just, the problem is the evolution supply skill that you need to use kind of stinks, because it gets you more gold, which I guess is useful, but kind of feels useless at times, because the amount of gold you get just really doesn't feel like it increases it enough to make it worthwhile. And plus, that's not an in the game, in the battle thing. Now, if you're playing a lower level, all of a sudden, hey, more gold, sure, might as well, because I'm not struggling here. This is not hard, that's the reality here. So the reason we're not grabbing this magnet, by the way, this is another little tip, is because we can save that magnet, and those gold gems or biofuel, whatever you want to call them, are worth laser range doubled. There we go, laser launcher, boom. And now we've got much bigger lasers. This is the stuff that really just matters a great deal for your gameplay, right? Stuff like this, these little things, like try and experiment, because sometimes you'll like different things. A side note, the durian is actually really cool, especially if you get a tech part for it later on that will allow it to stay nearby you, and then once you upgrade it fully in the game to it shooting out caltrops and stuff, it's pretty crazy. So there's that. The one I would definitely say stay away from is the rocket. It does massive damage, but it's really slow even with upgrades, and it's still just not fast enough to catch things very consistently at times, especially on bosses. I'm struggling to kill all this stuff. I might have to grab that magnet soon. Yeah, that's the one I would definitely stay away from, and also the energy barrier around you, unless you're playing lower level, just to not have to pay close attention. So the best upgrades I would recommend, as far as just things other than the actual weapon directly, so weapon skills, drill bit or the soccer ball, either one's pretty good. Both have really cool upgrades. The drones get crazy because then you can put them together. The lightning emitter, fantastic. The laser, I really think, is really good. The durian's fine, a lot of fun, and the spinning saw blades are just, they don't do a lot of damage, but they help protect you in a major way that they block bullets, and some bosses really throw a lot of bullets. So just keep in mind, those are the things that I would recommend. You know what, we're going to grab this, and I think this is where we're going to conclude the video. +1 drill, laser. Let's see if we can get it last upgrade here. Nope. There it is. Okay, so we just upgraded the, nope, I want to show you this really fast. So, oh my goodness. We could take soccer balls. Sure. Oh my goodness. That was a lot of levels we just gained. And it just keeps going. Okay. Oh, there's the laser upgrade, death ray. And so you'll see all of this going on. But as you'll notice here, we got the drones to combine up in the top right, and now we took an extra slot open to our soccer ball. And if I can get the shoe down here, I can increase movement speed and then make those into their super version, which is quantum entanglement balls, I believe. And just, they do massive damage. And when you combine them with the drill bit and then its upgrade, like, you're just going to clear out mobs. Like, it's ridiculous. And the drill bit's upgrade is a homing thing, so it goes great against anti-bosses, and the soccer balls just hit all over the place. So they're both really, really good against everything in different ways, right? So I've been Cody from the Keeper's Nerd. Let me know if you've played this game down in the comments below. If so, what's your favorite combo of weapons and whatnot? And maybe we'll talk a little further about it in the future of supplies, because I've hit some of the ones I really like. But yeah, this is a neat game. It's a lot of fun. You know, there's a lot of advertisements for it right now, but I think there's good reason for it, because it's a pretty fantastic game. So take care, and let me know down in the comments below what you build your game of Survivor.io with as well. Bye.